So I've been looking through some old videos on my channel to try and figure out like where everything went wrong. I rewatched a video I made on DIY 3D animation, and I noticed like lots of naysayers in the comments. People who were like adamantly against the premise of the video. I just spilled coffee everywhere. I figured, hey, let me make a video that kind of puts all of the naysayers to rest. I came up with a bit of a challenge. I'm gonna try and make an animated short in 48 hours. I have no idea what the movie is going to be about, but I'm gonna try and put something together in 2 days to prove that yes, you can do it by yourself. If I can make something at least halfway decent in 2 days, surely it's possible for somebody else to make something really, really, really good if they're willing to put in the time and effort. So, let's put 48 hours on the clock, and this might be a bad idea. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is gather our assets. Normally you'd start by coming up with a story, but because I'm making a 3D animated movie, and because we only have 2 days to make it, I need to know what 3D assets and resources are available to me right now, and then go from there. So for this challenge, we're gonna be using iClone, which is a real-time 3D animation and rendering software program. Normally when you make 3D animated films, there's tons of rendering, lighting, ray tracing, all of that involved. iClone focuses on making animations with a very fast turnaround time using a real-time rendering engine. It's not the best quality, but it is fast, and that's what we're counting on. So I've pulled up their official content store. The first thing that I wanna do is see what scenes they have available. I want to spend as little time as possible working on the 3D environment that the story takes place in, so I'm going to be looking for the most complete and thorough pre-made 3D scene. At this point, I don't know, is it going to be a sci-fi movie? Is it going to be a western? Is it going to be something that takes place in the modern day? High quality abandoned house looks good. I want something that's bigger. I want something that's not just a room. The shelter looks cool. These showrooms are kind of sci-fi. The thing is, sci-fi would require lots of visual effects, and I don't want to go overboard because I don't have a whole lot of time. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Walls and Towers looks interesting. Medieval. Rome Fantasy Pack. That's interesting. I could maybe work with that. Yeah. I like this. Okay, let's do this. Yikes. All right, gotta do it. Okay, so we have the setting that the story is going to take place in. Now we need to find some characters. There needs to be like a good guy and a bad guy. Let me start with the bad guy first. I know that iClone has these creatures that you can purchase that are all kind of spooky looking. Which one do I want to go with? What's this demon look like? It does have some pre-made animations, which is good because we're going to have to use that to save time. It's too humanoid. I want it to be a little bit different than Biotraps. That looks cool, but I don't think it will work in the Roman setting. This guy's big, but he's... decisions. Slug would be really interesting. Ooh, I like that drop down. And I like that scream, that's pretty cool. He's got some humanoid features, but I really like that face. That run is menacing. I could do like a charge. I like the jump. I like that. I like all of that. Let's go with this guy. 1050, this is costing me so much money. Sorry, honey. Luckily, this video is sponsored. We need to come up with the good guy. So I think it should be like a fighter, obviously. They've got really cool sci-fi. We need something that's like an old school Roman soldier to match with the setting. I like this Renaissance character here, but it's too... He needs to be a fighter, like a soldier, like a warrior kind of thing. What about this guy? Whoa. This guy right here, this is it. I don't know that I want the spear, but I want this guy. How much is this? Everything is so expensive. This is really cool here. Medieval peasants, these like go with, because you can even see the environment. I wonder if we could make like two main characters. Like there's like, what if there's like a soldier guy, but the peasant character could be like a younger kid, and the fighter, the warrior, the soldier, he saves the kid. Oh! Are you kidding me? That's more than the environment. I really like that outfit though. All right, let's do it. You guys better smash that like button like I am smashing the add to cart button. We need fighting animations. Sword and shield combat combo includes sword and shield moves, sword and shield stunts. Most animation houses, they have like motion capture. They put on a big suit, they record a performance, and then they translate that live action performance onto the animated models. We don't have time for that. We need to find some pre-made assets, and that's what iClone is all about. They've got these different movements that you can put on the character The sword is interesting. The guy, he comes with a spear. Do I have a sword? I don't know, we'll find that out later. I can use these actions to tell the story that we're gonna come up with. I know there needs to be some action scenes in it, so let's use these. $272. Why is it so expensive? It's ridiculous. This is where they make their money. This is where they get you. I cannot believe I'm going to do this. I really hope we pull this off, or this is all gonna be for naught. All right, let's do this. I did not think about the fact that we would have to spend time downloading these things and installing them. That's gonna slow us down a bit. Okay, so while these are downloading, let me figure out what the story is gonna be. Let's go to the whiteboard. Okay, so the first thing that we've got to figure out is, what is our story? In order to answer that question, we first need to clearly define our assets. We know we have the following tools available. We have our pre-made Rome pack, and based on the product notes, there are 2 different sets. Additionally, we have our knight in shining armor. That'll be the hero of our story. We also have our peasant outfits, and from that, we're going to create a character who is a young child. We'll just say boy for now. And then finally, we have our villain, our slug monster. We'll just call him Slug. Somehow we've got to take these assets and create a story from them. So I'm thinking the story takes place in this small village. We open up and we find that this place has been under siege by this slug monster for a few days, and this young boy has been in hiding. Things have gotten quiet, so the young boy, he finally goes outside to see what the damage is. He sees bodies on the ground, there's smoke, this place is totally in ruins. That does mean we're going to have to create some bodies. We need to add that to our assets. Bodies. So the boy's walking around the village, he's checking out the aftermath. Maybe he sees a body on the ground, he like bends down to check to see if they're alive. And then he hears something behind him, and he swings behind him. It's the monster. He's cowering in fear. He doesn't know what he's going to do. This monster like roars at him, and he's like, do I turn tail and run? What do I do? All of a sudden, our hero, the knight, shows up, puts a hand on the boy's shoulder, and is like, stay back. He pulls out his weapon, and he fights the slug monster, and then what happens? I don't know. It could be cool if like the slug monster kills the knight, and maybe the boy picks up the knight's weapon and then like fights the slug and beats the slug. Maybe we could end it. This is a really long story. I don't know that we can fit this in. Let me just plot it out real quick, the story. So the boy walks through the town, the slug attacks him. I've got to figure out some way to, can I animate that? Yeah, I could probably do that. Then the knight comes in, the knight fights the slug, but then the knight loses. The boy picks up his weapon and the boy fights the slug. Boy fights the slug, cuts down the slug, and the day is saved, and that's the end of the movie. How am I gonna make this in 2 days? Okay, so we've got our story down, we've got our assets installed, we're gonna fire up iClone 7, and we're gonna check them out and see if this thing is even possible. Is there like a refund period on these models just in case this doesn't work out? Oh, this is taking forever to load. We don't have time for this. This jacket is driving me nuts. I have to move it. This thing is still loading. There's no way, right? Here we go. First things first, let's check out these environments that we purchased. Hopefully these will work for the story that we have come up with. If not, we might have to revise. Taking a while to load in there. It's not a good sign. It's worth noting I have an incredibly underpowered editing station that is probably below the recommended requirements for this software. Okay, here we go. I mean, it looks good. We've got this like tunnel thing that we can have the fight take place in. I definitely am gonna move this object if I can like overturn it, because the town is supposed to be in ruins. I mean, it's a pretty good pack. It's well textured. You can get close-ups and it doesn't look, you know, too terribly bad. Oh, come on, load. How much time have we used so far? Okay, second one is, I would like it if it was obviously more than just the 2 houses. The boy could be hiding in this house right here. I could do a scene where it's like starts here, and then it pans up, trucks over, maybe it zooms in, and then he comes through this door. Our settings are good. We need to very quickly create some characters. Character animation is interesting. Not a lot of people really understand how 3D animation works. It's basically like taking a 3D Barbie doll or 3D action figure and putting clothes on it and then just articulating its limbs into the pose or the position that you want. At this point, I went through a rather long-winded explanation of character design and stumbled my way through creating the hero. I went with a non-photoreal approach for the body. I felt that fit better, added the outfit we picked out, and then did some texturing work to make him a bit more bloodied and bruised. After he was done, I designed a peasant boy using a similar workflow. I even made a few characters to use as bodies on the ground. I didn't really spend any time on their faces, as they weren't going to be seen once they were placed in the environment. All of this was very boring and time-consuming. We're going to speed ahead for time's sake. Okay, so let me give you guys a quick rundown of how you would go about making a typical scene. Matter of fact, if this doesn't go well, I'm not going to be able to finish this thing on time. We've got the pre-made assets. I've done a little bit of work on it. I've overturned this cart here, and I've put some like apples on the ground. What we need to do now is to put our boy character in the scene and have him walk down this particular pathway. So we're just gonna go File, Send Character to iClone. So here he is. We're gonna rotate him to where he's facing the correct way. Basically, we're just going to apply a walk animation so he walks down this pathway, and then we're gonna create a 3D camera and make it real cinematic and all that. See how fast it renders. Okay. I think we can work with that. I think it's gonna render fast enough to where I can do this. Once I had the test shot working, I began animating the rest of the sequence, including a few angles where the boy makes his way to the end of the road, bends down to check one of the bodies, and swings his head around to face the monster. Things were starting to get complicated, so I created a directory and sorted each different shot with a number code to help me keep track of how far along I was getting in the story. Normally, animators storyboard every shot, and they pre-plan every single angle of their movie, but with such a limited time frame, I was flying by the seat of my pants and making it up as I went along. As a result, I ended up animating the story mostly in order. I rendered each shot as an image sequence, so if there were any blips or errors, I could go back and make corrections starting with the first bad frame instead of having to completely re-export an entire video file. It took a while, but I eventually finished the opening sequence and then got to work on the slug monster. I'm worried. I might have to significantly change the last half of this movie. I just don't think there's enough time on the clock for me to feasibly animate. Because you have to keep in mind, I'm still gonna have to put music to it, cut the angles together, add sound effects. I can't spend all my time just on animating. Whatever, I can do this. I just gotta stick with it. So much of 3D animation and like movie making as a whole is just smoke and mirrors to cover up the duct tape that's right off screen. So here's an example. We've got this scene here where the boy is cowering in fear. You know, he's scared because the monster is gonna attack him. And as he's looking unsure, suddenly this hand shows up, pushes him aside. It's the knight, it's the soldier. He's coming to save the day. So when you watch it from this angle, he appears, and it's good, right? What you don't see, if we just switch the camera angle, is that if you look here, you can tell that I haven't animated anything but what I needed to. So if you just watch the knight himself, he just kind of you see it? But it doesn't matter, right? Because none of that information is going to be on the screen. If you just move the camera angle and just animate what's on screen, you would never know that things are like in complete disarray. So many animated movies, they do this. It saves time. If it's not going to be on screen, it doesn't necessarily need to be animated to perfection. Just get everything in the frame to where it needs to be. This has been stuck at please wait 100% for like a solid minute. I'm worried, guys. I'm worried. I'm gonna have to change the fight. The fight scene is what is throwing me off. There's no way that I can get all of the intricacies of the knight losing and the boy somehow getting a hold of the weapon, animating the entire fight scene between the boy who's got to have a different animation set than the soldier because he's untrained in a weapon. It's just, I don't know that I can do that in the time period I have. Let me change some things around. Okay, it's too long. I think the two fight scenes are just too much. As much as I think the boy picking up the weapon and fighting the slug and winning the battle makes it a better story, I have to be realistic about the deadline. So I'm thinking the knight just has to win the fight. I really don't like this particular change to the story, but man, it's just, I don't think I'll be able to animate everything in time. This whole fight scene right here is gonna take so much time. All right, I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to get burned out. I'm at the point where the fight scene takes place between the knight and the slug, and there's problems. This kick, I can't get it to look right. It's not that I'm struggling, technically speaking, it's just a time issue, right? Like, look at how much time is left. There's no way. There's so many intricate things in this fight scene already that I'm not sure. The scene has lots of elements. It's got the environment, it's got the slug, it's got the knight, it's got the boy. They all have their own props. I don't know. All right, whatever, enough complaining. I just gotta buckle down and do it. Oh, my back is killing me. I need to go for a walk or something. I did go for a walk, making sure to render a few shots while I was away from the keyboard. When I finally sat back down, I found my way through the movie's fight scene. I wasn't completely satisfied with it, but the clock was winding down, and I knew if I didn't start assembling the clips and working on sound, I wouldn't make the deadline. Okay, so we have hopefully rendered out all of the necessary image sequences. I've imported all of these sequences and put them onto a timeline. If we scrub through them here, you can see every little bit is now here and ready to be worked on. I am absolutely exhausted. We have how many hours left? It's okay though, because I picked up one of these little things. A little bit of a pick-me-up. Bottoms up. Ugh. All right. First thing I need to do is music. While the image sequences were rendering, I looked through my sound and music library and I settled upon these two tracks. That was pretty good. That one might be too epic. Not a whole lot of time on the clock, so I've just got to kind of pick one and hope it works out. A weird thing happens when you get close to a deadline. Maybe it's the mixture of panic and severely lowered quality standards, but I always feel like I get more done in the final hours of a project than all the time leading up to it combined. I cut the shots together, mixed the soundtrack to a point that I was sort of satisfied with, fixed a few blank spots and temporary visual effects that needed sprucing up, and before I knew it, the movie was starting to form. All that was left was sound effects. The question was, would there be enough time? I think it's relatively ready. I just need to add the sound effects. We'll pull open this very, very expensive audio editing suite. So he comes on screen and he's like, stay back, stay back, stay back. It's important to get the timing right. Stay back, stay back. I think that'll work. Now we need the monster roar. I'll do a couple of these. Okay, one of those should work. Okay, all we have to do is apply a pitch shifter effect, and now it sounds like this. Right? I like that one.
Stay back.
Good enough. We are running out of time, man. I gotta hurry up. Okay, add the monster sound effects and then a little bit of fighting sounds and then it should be done. Oh, what a time crunch. My stomach is just like, oh, am I gonna make it? I needed to have given myself one more hour in retrospect. That's everything, right? It doesn't match very well. I don't have time. I have no time. What's the effect? Oh, think. Dip to black. I don't have time to check this. I just don't have time to check it all the way through. I I just have to trust that the sound effects are there. Oh man, this is down to the absolute wire. Okay. I just have to call it. That's it. Now it's like, oh wow, the audio's taking a while. Okay. Is it gonna make it? Oh, that's gonna be close. Oh. What if it doesn't finish in time? I should make it. Okay, here we go. It's going a little bit faster. It definitely has its issues. I will say that. But I'm so scatterbrained right now. I don't know how this is gonna turn out. It's got some really rough spots in it. I'm already apologizing. So I mean, this is it. So I don't know what to expect. I'm just so glad it's over. My head is killing me. My back is killing me. Why do I do this? All right, let's see what this thing looks like.
Stay back.
So I've had about a day or two to catch up on my sleep. Just watched the short and I have some thoughts. Obviously, it's not perfect. Nothing made in 2 days is. It's got some continuity errors, some color correction issues. The animation's stiff in places, the pacing's off, the sound effects could be better. There's a lot of areas for improvement. It does have some good moments though. I mean, I like the character design. I like my framing in particular shots. I always had the good guys facing one direction, the bad guy facing another direction. I worry that some people are walking away from my first video on 3D animation with the wrong idea. It wasn't to say that you could make a movie that was on par, visually speaking, with a Pixar flick with your cell phone. It was to say that the technology that goes into making 3D animated films is more widely available than ever before. You can make the argument that it is getting easier and easier to make great looking stuff without all the bells and whistles of multi-million-dollar corporations. As stressful as it was, I had a lot of fun making this thing, and I hope that if you're out there and you're wanting to get started in 3D animation, maybe this will inspire you to make your own stuff. To that end, if you're wanting to get started, there's no better place to check out than this video's sponsor, Skillshare. They want to help you improve your creative skill set and take your passion to the next level. Skillshare is an online learning community that offers practical classes presented in a way that helps you move your creative journey forward without having to put your day-to-day life on hold. They have a huge selection of classes on animation, illustration, video production, and more. I recently checked out Frasier Fraser Davidson's class on simple character animation, which introduces you to some of the basic concepts behind bringing a static character to life, and you can take those principles into the 3D world by checking out Remington Markham's class on creating a 3D character in Blender, a free program more than capable of producing great stuff. An annual subscription to Skillshare is less than $10 a month, but the first 500 of you to visit the link in the description will get 2 months of premium membership for free, giving you unlimited access to thousands of classes with hands-on projects and feedback from a community of millions. Check it out today.